If you're just starting to prep, you can be totally consumed with getting prepared for your family. And let me say this up front, you will never be totally prepared. And that's what the Sensible Prepper channel is all about. Being prepared is a mindset. Being prepared is a lifestyle of self-reliance. And so that's what we want to look at today. You know, there are so many different areas, whether it's the fires out west, whether it's massive power outages in the Northeast, or whether it's tornadoes that have come through and ravished a lot of our area, hurricanes, all those type things. I want to address the things that you need if you're at home in a grid down situation, and will not only help you to survive, but keep you from making rash decisions in an emergency situation for you and your family. Now, when building your survival kit, the most important way to gauge and to measure what you're doing is the rule of threes. And the rule of three states that you have 3 minutes without air, you have 3 hours in harsh environmental conditions and exposure, you have 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So these are some things that we first base our survival plan on, and then we go from there. But one of the most important elements of the survival kit is going to be your first aid. Because if you are in a tornado, if you're in a fire, if you're in something, there are usually injuries. And you need to be able to treat those injuries, you need to be able to take care of them. And also, just to keep the body in good shape, having some antibiotic cream to put on your, if you cut yourself, because that can really turn into something nasty if you're in a grid down situation and you can't necessarily get to a hospital and there's no medical attention. So having a first aid kit is number 1 on the list. Now, the number 2 thing that you need to think about on the list is water. This is number 2 in importance. Many people go ahead and go with food, but we need to take care of water first. Again, 3 days without water. You need 1 gallon of water per day per person to survive. And really 2 gallons of water per person is much better, because that gives you extra water for hygiene and cooking and things like that. But you definitely need to take care of your water supply. This is a 5-gallon container. I got this at Walmart. I think they're about $5 or $6. Instead of going and buying just 5 1-gallon milk jug type waters, you can buy one of these and fill it up with tap water. And you have a much better storage system, and you're going to keep a lot of the sunlight out that you want in those clear water containers. You also have water in your home, as in your hot water heater. You also have water in the toilet tank, not the bowl, but the toilet tank that you can use and drink. Listen, if the power goes out, do not flush the toilet. Leave the water in there. It could come in handy later on. Number 2 on the list is food. Now, we can live 3 weeks without food, but you begin to lose energy and you begin to lose mental acuity if you don't have food. So whether you go and just buy basic canned food, which is a great way to do it, or, you know, in just little soup mixes, this is a great way to be able to supplement and have some food on hand. And then you can rotate this out. Most of this stuff is really just great stuff to eat, and you really want to stick kind of with what you do eat. But if you want a little more peace of mind and something you can just put back without worrying about, an emergency food supply kit like this has 203 servings, has a 25-year shelf life. This really gives you a lot of peace of mind. 2,063 calories per day. So this is a 12-day meal plan. These are available at Walmart. They're not available at all Walmarts. But to tell you where people are going right now with their survival is that there is a demand for these. These run about $65 or a little less. I would highly recommend something like this. Now, number 4 is a good emergency radio. And one of the reasons why you need an emergency radio is because you can get weather. You can find out what's going on all around you. This one is a hand-cranked radio. It will use batteries. There are some solar-powered ones that are pretty cool as well. This one has shortwave on it, and it has some other features, a light and a siren and all that, but that's just extra. You definitely need to know what's going on around you, so this is number 4, very important in your survival kit. Okay, number 5 is flashlight, and you need to have a couple of really decent flashlights. These have the CR123s, but I'm going to give you a word of caution. And what I have in my actual survival kit is 2 AA flashlights, because AA's are very plentiful. They're easy to come by. and the batteries last for a while. The one thing about the CR123s is the batteries will last 10 years because they're lithium, and you could store this away and keep it for a long time. But 2 flashlights with batteries, that is an incredible security tool. Plus, it just gets, if a grid down situation occurs, you're going to have some light if you need it. Number 6 is your security. A pistol, and some people will put this higher on the list. Since I already own a pistol, I'm thinking more or less what's going to happen in a real survival situation, a grid down situation. You know, the pistol is great to have, and you're going to need it to protect yourself and your family in a really bad situation. People can get desperate over a long period of time, and you need to be able to protect not only your family and the safety of your family, but also your stores and what you have put aside. You also need an extra magazine and 100 rounds of ammunition minimum. I would definitely up this if I could to 200, but definitely at least 100 rounds. Now, the gun laws in your area may not allow you to have a firearm. You need to consider whether it's a knife, whether it's a baseball bat, whatever it is that you can use to defend yourself and your family, or some non-lethal options, pepper spray, some stuff like that. But those are just temporary to ward off attackers, and so you need to really put together a security plan, and whatever you need, that is number 6 on the list. Now, I would put cash on that list, and cash is going to be important in a grid down situation. Cash is king. ATMs may be out, the banks may be closed because if the electricity's out. Stores will not be able to accept credit cards. I've been in that situation before. So having at least $100 in cash is important, and I would definitely not have a $100 bill, but try to break that down into 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s. In case they can't make change, and you'll save some of your cash that way. Resist the temptation, though, to pull it out of your bag. Keep it in there. Now, number 8 is fire starter, and fire starter is really high on the survival tool as far as in a bug out situation or if you're away from your home. But in your home, fire starting, though, can be important for different situations such as cooking, for lighting, whatever you need. So you definitely need to have some different methods, and this is a lighter, a fire steel, some waterproof matches. But one of the things about starting a fire is it can be fairly difficult, and so one of the things that I like to keep in my fire package is some tinder or a way to really get some fire going. I've done a review on this fire puck. I would highly recommend this, and it's a matchless fire starter, and it's just incredible. It'll burn in anything, but you may be in a situation where there's rain and it's difficult to get a fire started. Number 9, having a good knife. You may have some kitchen knives and some other things like that, but having a good, sturdy, fixed blade knife can be important for different tasks. And this K-bar, it's been around, and I'll tell you what, this is an incredible survival tool. You may have tools and things around the house that you can supplement with this, but if you're in a limited space like an apartment and you're relying on small, thin kitchen knives, you're going to really need something that's a tool that can pry and do some other things, not just cut. This can also be used in your security element as well. And number 10 would be your cooking. You can typically eat something cold if you need to, but if you need to heat up some water and it's a grid down, you need to have some way to do that. And this is just the Coleman stove with the propane. You can also use your grill, your propane grill, and make sure though that you have plenty of fuel for your stoves. If you're able to build a fire and have a fire pit, you need to have some kind of mesh to go over it, or some way to be able to set pots on. But whatever, you need definitely to have some way to cook. It may be just boiling water to purify the water. So there are a lot of reasons why having a source to be able to cook is highly important. Now, those are the top 10 survival items for your survival kit. Put this together, it'll give you a lot of peace of mind, and then from there you can either decide to increase, or you can have this put back and know that you're at least basically prepared for a tough situation. Now, this isn't an all-encompassing list, it's just the top 10, and this will give you a basis to either build on, or it will give you peace of mind, and it'll help you to be really ready in case the lights go out. Be strong, be courageous. God bless America. Long live the Republic. faces a major issue or a major problem